The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to yet another edition of our Launchpad series. Armando is going to be joining me in a bit. I think he's having a little bit of a technical challenge. He's going to join me up really soon. I think he's just signed in right now.
Yeah. Good morning,
Okay.
everyone. Yeah, sorry. Just I'm here now.
Terrific. Armando's having one of those mornings. All right, so Armando's on. We're all set. The usual format, we'll first start off with our latest news and articles. I got a lot of good stuff to share with you today, so good for everyone that signed on. There's a lot of good information in today's Launchpad webinar. I followed up with a very interesting case study. Armando's going to talk about a recent website that we launched for a radio show host based out of New York, and he wanted a new website. A complicated project because we were dealing with a live radio show, so we wanted to make sure that all the podcasts get transferred over to the new website, and the live stream also does not get impacted. So it was a little complex. But we just recently launched the website, so Armando is going to be talking about that. And this is a great case study if any of you are pitching to any prospects that are in the media industry, that are journalists, etc., that require podcasting capabilities on their websites or video hosting capabilities on their websites. It's a great case study that you can definitely utilize for your prospects that Armando is going to be talking about. And then we also have a really cool tool that I'm going to be previewing in the Tool of the Week section. It's a rank checker tool. It's free, and it's actually non-personalized, which is one of the biggest challenges when checking rankings right now, as a lot of the ICs might be aware of. So, if you're at a client's office, he asks you to check ranks properly. The whole idea of like going through the ad preview tool so that you don't get personalized results, this tool eliminates all of that. So it's a really cool tool that we'll share with you because it actually queries Google's database in real time. Followed up with our regular Q&A session. Great. So moving on. Oh, actually, before we start, let's get everybody a quick update on the Sochi Olympics. I'm not sure how many of the ICs are following it. We're following it pretty aggressively here because Canada in Vancouver in 2010 was at the top of the medals tally with 14 gold medals. So we're pretty passionate about winter sports. I don't do any winter sports myself, but I definitely like to follow it. And so here's the latest medal standings right now. Norway's won. They're doing awesome. Canada's too, yay. So we're doing pretty good. We got like 4 gold medals already. Our a couple of star athletes, Hamlin and Biladu, won back-to-back medals in Vancouver and in Sochi this year. So that's pretty exciting. So we've started off on a pretty good note. 1 sec, I'm just going to kill my email so that doesn't disturb us. Great. So we've gotten off to a pretty good start, and here's hoping for more medals. Let's see if we can top our Vancouver haul with 14 gold medals. Let's see if we can beat that. Netherlands is 3, United States 4, Germany followed up by the host country Russia. Russia's at 6 right now, and then you have Austria, France, Belarus, Korea. Korea just won another gold medal in speed skating today, so that should move them up in the standings. And then we have the UK, which is at 20. So they got a little bit of work to do. All right, terrific. So moving on, that was a little bit of the Olympics update for us. Now here's a Google update. So changing gears from the Olympics update to a couple of Google updates. So Google's updated its page layout algorithm, and it's going after sites that are top heavy with ads. This filter is known as the top heavy algorithm filter, and according to Google's official blog, which I'll show you in a sec. So here's the official blog from Google. This is the Google Insight Search blog. If you guys don't follow it, I suggest you do. It's the URL is right here. It's insightsearch.blogspot.ca, and it basically showcases. This is direct from the search team at Google, and any updates that take place get posted over here. There's this particular updates that's taking place, the page layout algorithm improvement that was done internally on the 19th of January, as you can see with that posting. And then here's Matt Cutz's Twitter account. I mean, it's up to you if you want to follow him or not, because he does come up with a lot of personal tweets as well, but this is where he also posts a lot of the official tweets, so As you can see, his tweet on this was, I believe, yesterday, actually the 6th of February was, we recently launched a refresh of this algorithm, and that link points to the link that I just showed you guys, visible to the outside world on the 6th of February, which this what he's referring to, the page layout algorithm update that they just basically did. What this means is that do not have sites that are top heavy as far as the ads are concerned. Watch the amount of ad space above the fold. Don't crowd it with ads. Don't have too many ads above the fold because Google doesn't like it. It's not a good user experience. Google's looking for good, rich, informational content that's beneficial for the users when it comes to at least the above the fold position for the websites. So this algorithm's in play. I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about a really cool study that Bright Local did on local businesses. So as you know, Bright Local's a company that offers, I'll go to their website, they actually offer a lot of local tools, they even have local packages, etc. And so they have a huge customer base to work out of as far as local insights are concerned. And they did this study recently, and they came out with the results. And one of the questions that they asked in the results was, what's the most important information piece that should be visible on a local business website? And the answers were quite interesting. The top three, followed by a fourth, which was like around 10%, was the list of products was first. So the most important information on a local business website that visitors are looking for was the list of products. The second information piece was the price list. I mean, if you're a local shopper, you're price shopping, you want to have the price readily available. So the price list was number 2. The phone number was 3 because you want to call them and engage with them right away. Followed up by the physical address and the opening hours. So the top 6, I would say the top 5 considerations for the most important information on a local business website were the list of products, the price list, phone number, followed up by the physical address and the opening hours. This is how the respondents reacted as far as this particular question was concerned. So great information to have, especially because a lot of the ICs deal with local clients. So this is like a nice little checklist for our local websites to ensure that these 5 or 6 action items should definitely, with these items that are coming out of this poll, should definitely be covered on our websites, because that's normally what businesses are looking for. Now, this survey is not the end all as far as like information is concerned, because their sample size is not millions of customers. It's a very small sample size that they base their survey results out of, but it's still a good insight into the mind of a local visitor that's visiting a local business website. The other question that was asked of the survey respondents was factors that make you want to use a local business the most. So what are the factors that make you most likely to conduct business with a local outlet? And again, the top 5 factors were in the order of priority were business proximity. So location matters. The closeness of the location based on the visitor search is what visitors are looking for. Clear contact details. The second most important factor for decision making was the contact details that are being made visible to people. So ensure that we have proper contact details for our local websites. Company information, very important again, because there's a whole trust factor that comes in. You want to make sure that the company information is displayed clear and prominent. There's an About Us page that gives a lot of information on the company. Testimonials. Very good to have testimonials on the website. Plus, you can also sync in testimonials from places like Yelp, etc. on your website that are third-party reviews that you can sync in and give the visitors sort of like an unbiased opinion on your products and services, and the attractiveness of the website. So these were kind of like the top 5 criterion that visitors were looking at in order to decide whether to do business with a local outlet or not. The business proximity and the contact details emerging right at the top of this survey. So again, the whole proximity idea, it's very important if a location has multiple stores, so as to have location store locators or location finders in their website, installed in their website itself, because that's a big criteria for visitors choosing what business to interact with. The other question that we found interesting that we thought we'd showcase in this webinar was the factors that would most likely stop the visitors from using a local business. And the top 5 factors were, the first factor was no phone number. And I totally relate to that. It can be really frustrating, and I experienced that very recently. I was trying to book an appointment with a local clinic, and they specialize in a particular field, and I was trying to look for their telephone number. I looked for their telephone number, I could not find a telephone number, and then I finally found it, and it was like, it was so like hidden, I would say. I mean, for the lack of a better word, I had to really dig down into the website and then try and find the phone number. It was like hidden in a sub-page, and it was incredibly tough to find the number. And if I consider myself to be relatively internet savvy, was having such a big challenge finding the phone number, imagine what was happening with the other visitors that were coming to the website. So no phone number is the biggest frustration for visitors looking at local websites. So you have to ensure that the phone number is right front, center, prominent on the header, every single page of the website, so they can pick up and just call the local business at any time. The second most important factor for stopping the visitors from using a local business was no prices being displayed. Now, this one's a little debatable because you don't want to display prices at all times, right? I mean, sure, if you're a dentist, you can talk about your teeth whitening prices or regular cleaning services, but you don't want to start giving out pricing for things like veneers or crowns, etc., etc. Or there's other businesses that might not want to display prices because of competitors, because competitors can look at the price and then undercut their price a little bit so as to lure the shoppers away. So this one's a little debatable, but I guess this is more geared, I guess, to like restaurants or industries where price is pretty common to display. So in that instance, if you can display the price, it's not a big competitive issue, then go ahead and display the price, because it is a very important factor in people stopping to choose doing business with you. Now, poor content, very important. So if the site does not resonate confidence in the quality of content that's being presented by the website, again, it led to a bad user experience and a decision of not utilizing or engaging with that business as far as looking at their products and services is concerned. This is a challenge as well as an opportunity. So whenever you're encountering sites on the local space that do not have or do not resonate expertise in their field or their area or their industry, is a great opportunity to actually pitch them and use the survey result as proof that if you don't have poor content, then their brand is what's really selling them. The word of mouth is what's really selling them. But if they're trying to attract new visitors to the website, new clients onto their business, then they have to put a good impression, even when it comes towards content, as that's the third most important factor. And it's only a couple of percentage points away from the leading factor, which is the no phone number. The other issue was business not being local. If somebody's doing a local search, means they want to actually engage with somebody local. If they're not local, that's an issue. And then the fifth most important factor that was an issue for people doing business with a local company was no contact email. So a lot of the times people don't want to engage with you right away for whatever the reason may be. It's the time of the day when your location's actually closed, you're not open. It's somebody's researching the internet in the nighttime, and they just simply want to send you an email. They just want to engage with you through an email first, and then once they get the information, they want to decide to see if they want to take it to the next level. So if you don't have any contact email, that's an issue for a lot of the visitors that are coming to your website. So again, just to summarize, the top 5 factors so as to discourage people from utilizing a local business were no phone numbers on the website, no prices displayed, poor content, business not being local, and no contact emails that they can reference to. The whole survey is actually available on this link. We've put that at the bottom of the presentation, but the link's right here. So it's on Bright Local's official website, and this is the whole survey right here. So we just touched base, as I mentioned, on a couple of important factors, but there's a whole bunch of other questions that were answered in the survey, and it's a pretty cool survey. So definitely a good read. Great. Moving on. So the other news of the week was Yahoo that's actually turning to Yelp to beef up their local search. As you might remember, in the previous Launchpad last week, we talked about how Yahoo's incorporating Google Plus style local listings. So they're enhancing their local listings, but they look very similar to how Google's displaying the local listings. And again, the whole idea behind that shouldn't be any surprise, because Marissa Mayer is an ex Google employee, and she's obviously going to take a lot of best practices. The old adage of why fix something if it ain't broken, right? So if that's working well for Google, might as well just deploy that for Yahoo as well. So a lot of their local listings are now displaying kind of like Google, and what they've done is they've actually now tied up with Yelp so as to have Yelp's reviews show up in the Yahoo local search results, and that's really good for Yelp. I mean, the stock's been going up, and this is terrific because this is going to shoot it up even more. Yelp's doing really well as a company, and this partnership with Yahoo should only strengthen Yelp that much more, and then of course give more qualitative feedback and improve the quality for the reviews and the local results for Yahoo itself. And that's a big concern for Yahoo, because Yahoo, as you can see, has been losing a lot of the search share to Bing, and Google's pretty much steady at 67%, but Bing's been taking over a lot of the market share, and that's been coming out of Yahoo's share. So that's why Yahoo's trying to up the game a little bit. Great. So there's another manual action penalty that Google has started launching, and this is again just fresh news. A couple of days back, this was reported in one of the Webmaster World forums, so there's a penalty against spammy structured markup that Google started sending out. So there's actual emails that Google started sending out to websites where they feel that the structured markup is not being utilized properly. And for the ICs that did not join us when we talked about structured markup in detail a couple of webinars back, structured markup is the whole aspect of identifying to Google important information on your website. Like, for example, if you're if you're a restaurant, or highlighting your reviews so that Google can report it differently. If you're an author, highlighting your books so Google can report it differently. So these are the ways. There's a whole bunch of different categories where you can structure that information better in a sort of a structured markup format and report that information to Google, so Google can adjust your display and its search results accordingly. And but what's been happening is that, just with anything else, people have started abusing structured markup and trying to utilize that so as to get better rankings or get more real estate when it comes to their actual search results pages. So Google's now started fighting that, and they've started sending out warnings where they're seeing spammy structured markup, things like misleading content, content that's invisible to the users, or other manipulative behavior along these lines. So Google's going after that, and again, people started utilizing structured markup when they shouldn't technically have been marking content and reporting it to Google in that way. Marking something as, an article, an authoritative article, it wasn't really an authoritative article, things of that nature. So again, I mean, people started misusing it, but Google's going after that and penalizing sites, as well as sending out manual warnings through their webmaster tools. So that was a very cool survey, again, done with Bright Local. So it's a part of a couple of surveys that Bright Local had done, and this one was the SMB Internet Marketing Survey that they just did, and they gave out the results for this particular survey, and that's available on this particular link, the SMB Internet Marketing Survey of 2013, and the results that they disclosed. They talked about the most effective channels for lead generation for local businesses. So they want to understand how local businesses are generating leads from their audience base, and this was the feedback that they received. So word of mouth continues to be the strongest advocate for lead generation for local businesses. The 26% reported that word of mouth was their number one methodology of getting new leads for their business. No surprise there. It's been strong all the way through. SEO came in number 2 at 19%. So 19% of the respondents mentioned SEO as a strategy so as to generate leads for their business. Followed up by online local directories, 15%. And I was very surprised with this number. There's only 3% of local businesses or small businesses that reported PPC as being an effective avenue for lead generation. Again, I have my doubts about this number again because their sample size wasn't that big. In our opinion, PPC is a very strong way to generate leads. It's immediate. You can do a lot of tests with PPC because you're driving traffic straight away to a landing page. So in our opinion, this number should be higher because in our experience, a lot of local businesses are definitely engaging in PPC. And then followed by TV and radio advertising. Very few businesses were doing that. And online marketing as a whole was being deployed by 54% of local businesses. No surprise there. So again, huge opportunity for us. We're in the right industry. It's growing. There's more and more businesses that are incorporating online marketing, digital marketing as a whole. So the pool of people to work with, of potential prospects that we have is increasing year after year. People are realizing the value of that. There's more dollars that are getting shifted from traditional, like flyers, radio, TV, etc., newspapers, onto digital, which is great, and that's where we come in. So definitely the right industry. Of course, the demand. Always with demand comes competition. So there's of course increased competition, but it's again points that we can use to separate ourselves. That's a whole different discussion altogether. But the bottom line is that 54% of local businesses are utilizing online marketing to generate leads. But that PPC is a big question mark. And the survey also reported that PPC is the best starting point for small businesses, and agencies should be pushing PPC a lot more aggressively. And we get this quite often as well, because a lot of the ICs come to us and they're like, look guys, we want to generate leads for this client. That's what they're looking for. But here's the challenge. Our markup in SEO is a lot better than in PPC. So unfortunately, a lot of the ICs looking at the markup start pushing SEO over PPC. Now, of course, if the client can actually afford both, the blended strategy is the best because you're combining short-term and long-term approaches, which is SEO and PPC. However, if the client does not have a good budget, that's where the challenge comes in. And a lot of the times the ICs are tempted to go with the profitability of a product rather than what's actually good for the client, and that leads to shorter relationships and a frustrated client. So I would suggest to the ICs that when you're faced with this dilemma where you have a local prospect that's actually looking for results immediately, it's advisable to push them to the PPC route, build the confidence in your services, generate good quality leads for them, and then after a couple of months or 3 months, get them to invest in a sort of a longer term SEO strategy. Now this is only, bear in mind, if they don't have a budget for an integrated strategy, which is to do an SEO and a PPC campaign at the same time, which is highly, highly recommended. Because while the PPC is generating leads for them right away, you still have the SEO strategy that's kicking in. That takes about a couple of months, 3 months to kick in before results start showing up, and the client's brand starts getting exposed on the page 1 of the search results. As that's happening, the PPC is still kicking in, and it's generating leads right away for the client. So they're happy because they're seeing their phone ring, they're hearing their phone ring. So it's very important that at certain times we take a step back, and then as opposed to looking at short-term profits, think about the long-term interests for the client and our relationship with the client, and look at PPC as an avenue to start the relationship off, make the client happy, and then graduate them into an SEO citation building or a local content generation program. Now in terms of PPC, it also depends on how you price it, because your margins can be pretty good even in PPC. For example, our typical setup fee for a campaign, a PPC campaign, is $200. you can ramp that $200 fee to $700 or $800 or $900 as an initial setup fee, and there's definitely ways to justify why you'd be charging so much of a setup fee. We can give you a detailed breakdown of all the steps that we take, all the things that we do in order to set up a campaign, so you can justify a $600-700 markup on our initial setup fee. And then as far as the management fee is concerned, again, our lowest management fee slab is, I believe, around, Armando knows that better, I think it's around 125, 150 bucks, which can be also again marked up, not as much, but you can mark it up to 200, 250, and then add in value adds, like, okay, so you 1 hour consulting, bill that separately in addition to the management fee. So you billing, let's say, 200 for the management fee or 250 for the management fee, an hour of consulting in the client's office, bill in about 50, 100 bucks for that. And then that's how you start marking up your monthly PPC fee with your clients. So you're not necessarily just marking up your PPC, but you're adding in value-added services, and it's up to the client to take it or not. And that's how you kind of justify selling PPC and have good margins in PPC, by doing these things and positioning your products in a particular way. Feel free to reach out to us to discuss this more, but we definitely feel that this is an avenue where a lot of the ICs, especially the newer ones, go about selling a product that has high margins, but not necessarily the best product for the client. And as again, this was pointed out in the survey as well. Excellent. At this stage, I want to pass it on to Armando. As I mentioned, he's got a pretty exciting case study for us. So Armando, take it away.
Thank you, Manish. Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to, today, I know that I had mentioned to you last week that I was going to have an e-commerce case study, so I do apologize. That will be next week. However, we still have a very good case study that Manish kind of alluded to in the beginning of the webinar. And this is the case of the Dr. Ronald Hoffman website. He's a pretty, I don't want to say, somewhat famous in his field, a radio show host that focuses on nutrition, modern medical technologies, and definitely, apart from having his own radio show, he developed an online presence a few years back. And one of the key things about why we chose this website case study is the fact of the matter that sometimes you will be working with prospects that have older websites that maybe the use of the website's no longer up to date, and the client wants to go to the next level of their business, and in order for them to go to their next level, they need a whole new infrastructure of design, technology, content strategies, so many little things that perhaps his website 5 years ago when he built it or they built it was up to date. So this is what happened to Dr. Ronald Hoffman. I mean, to this day, I mean, the website use is not only informational, it's also a biography. It's also a subject matter expert resource center where he's always creating articles, touching up on different topics related to health, and specifically through the Hoffman Center, which is his medical clinic. And his website, if you can see here the screenshot that I have, this is the old website that he had. Very static. He did have a lot of features in it already, but it just wasn't getting the conversions. It just wasn't easy to navigate. So when he approached us and we began working with him, I kind of have some of the plan that he wanted to do was, a new fresh look and strong image branding, stronger call to actions on his website, better use of the real estate of every web page, improve social media features interactions. Because he's already on a traditional marketing through his radio show, he wanted to use that, leverage from that, and pretty much not only increase the traffic of his site, but also increase the number of followers and users that he can potentially continue to provide his message and deliver a specific message related to his clinic and health. Right, so that was very important for him, easier to navigate and better organized. If you go to his older website, you'll notice that it's very archaic, a little bit archaic. The way I think Manish is going to pull it up here. I think you're going to have to go to the other.
Yeah.
And as you'll see, I mean, the website is it's clean, yet it doesn't have all the conversion elements. I mean, it's very white, and for the branding that he wanted, not only for himself because he's the main brand, as well as the medical center, it didn't do justice because he does have a lot of different features. He has podcasts, he has an informational center, resource center, he has a store which he was using and promoting. But as you can see, it's a bit stale. Maybe it was a website that was good, 5, 6, 7 years ago. He told us that he was kind of waiting for the right time to make the leap into a better investment. But if you look at it, the layout wasn't that great. It's not that great. So he really definitely needed a redesign. We started working with him, and he wanted to take his online business. But it was a little bit weary, as Vinish probably mentioned a little bit in the beginning. We had to work very hard with him because, as you know, the decision maker sometimes is the busiest person in every project. So a lot of patience working with him, hand-holding, working with his inside team to make sure that we were able to not only grab the branding that he wanted, but all the elements, as well as bring on all that information that he had. It's about 400 plus pages of information that we had to populate into the new website. So we had to basically bring all that information to the new website, and we had to do it under a WordPress platform. His older platform was, I believe, called Fusion, so it's not as easy to migrate. So we had to kind of pretty much manually migrate everything. And the other things that we did was, freshen the look. Still went with his color, with his logo. We added more call to actions, more even his navigation. As you can see, you'll see that there's more action items. Even his navigation, read, watch, listen, look. You'll see that in the navigation in a second. Read, watch, look, listen, eat, shop, do, about. So it was he wanted to make it very simple, straightforward to his online customers. So this is the new website. We added social media components, and we also added features for his podcast, as well as we also embedded some videos in there into his presentation. Now, a lot of this had to be well organized with him, and we had to create an SEO-friendly website. At the same time, he had asked us that he wanted to sell his products online, so we had to put in a banner advertising module, which also allows them. If you go to the bottom, Vinish, sorry, just want to. There's a few featured products, and even that banner itself. Some of these banners go into external websites, so he wanted to also direct traffic to his suppliers. So, for example, Kyolic, that goes to a different website. So it was a whole campaign that he wanted to do, not only to sell his products, but also provide some sales space for his suppliers. So the suppliers are paying him for having their banners on his website. We're also incorporating real-time streaming of his radio show. That's part of what he wanted to show on his website, and we've linked it to his existing e-commerce site. Okay. Again, it's a project that's taking a bit of time. As you know, again, working with an individual, the business owner who wants to be hands-on, yet sometimes cannot find the time to do it and to review it, was a bit challenging. But at the end of the day, he's very happy with the results. The modern site, and the next steps that we're going to be working with them is on an SEO, PPC, and social media, what we like to call it integrative marketing strategy. And that's going to definitely now help us in measuring conversions, helping them sell his products, get more users to his website, stronger social media usage and followers. And the next project will be to now revamp his e-commerce website as well. Vinish, I know Vinish was part of this project, and maybe you have a few things that you can share with us. Based on your experience, specifically working with the client and his team.
Yeah, man. I mean, this was a great project to work with. I mean, Dr. Hoffman definitely understood the fact that he was going to be busy. He tried to delegate a lot of the information to a one point of contact in his organization that we're liaising with, which definitely helped. It always helps to have a one point of contact that can collate all the information. because the worst thing for a project of this magnitude is just like, again, too many cooks spoil the broth, the adage of 7 people sitting in a room, but there's like 10 different design ideas coming out, and you're just so frustrated because you're like, let's get this thing moving, we got to finalize this. That's a very common frustration when it comes to web development projects. So the one point of contact there at the organization was kind of given a good orientation on how to work with us in this project, which worked out very well. The orientation definitely helped. And then we just followed our regular process steps when it came to web development. And then the site's been launched, and now we're in the steps of ensuring our final test phase so as to check the site for bugs. Because when a site goes live in a live environment, a lot of things can happen. And it's good to get the client prepared for that, because we did find a few bugs when the site went live, and we fixed them right away, and that's expected. So overall, it's gone really well, and Dr. Hoffman's very pleased with the new look of the website. And as Armando's mentioned, we're now discussing the next phase for his digital marketing activity, which involves an integrated strategy including SEO, PPC, and social media. So very excited to work in the next phase. And the best part that comes out of projects of this nature is the references and the referrals that we are able to generate from projects of this nature, because Dr. Hoffman, as a matter of fact, mentioned us in one of his video shows, and then we have already generated 4 to 5 leads based on the work that we've done for him. So we're definitely very thankful for him, but that's again how you build good relationships, by producing good quality work. So all in all, a pretty good project. Excellent. Thanks for that, Armando. That was terrific. Let's go on to the tool of the week now. So for all of the ICs that are actually following Google Groups and K2, I put this up on Google Groups and K2 a couple of days back. As a matter of fact, 3 days back, on Thursday, I believe. I put this up. Very cool tool that we came across. So let's actually go to the tool and show you how this thing works. So I'm just going to close this. Great. So the tool's called, very simple, whatsmyscrp.com, and it's really awesome when you're actually, let's say, at the client's office, or you're in a situation where you need to check the rank for a keyword pretty quickly, but you don't want personalized results. You don't want you just want pure results that are coming up in Google's data centers. You don't want any personalization taking place. This is a fantastic tool to basically check rankings on the spot. So all you have to do is, it's really simple to use. There's no sign up, there's no login. It's free. That's the best part. So you just put in a domain name. So in this case, it's one of our clients. We put in the domain name of belllifestyleproducts.com. Now you can check the rankings in a variety of different ways. If you want to check the US rankings, it's the global by default, which is google.com. And then they also have regionalized geocentric rankings in all these different countries. So I think there's about 40 different countries that are represented here. So in this case, we want to check the rankings in google.ca. So we go to google.ca, and then you can also put in competitor domain names if you want to check competitor rankings. Here's how the tool works. So you just put in the keyword that you want to check the rankings for. So one of the keywords that we wanted to check the rankings was colon cleanse. This client has a product related to this particular keyword. And then what you do is you see this green refresh arrow. You just click on that. And once you click on it, what it's going to do is that it's actually going to start querying. Oh, my session's expired, so I got to refresh this page. So it's loading up again. Great. And it actually has a cookie installed in there, so you can actually remember your previous search as well. So we put in the keyword colon cleanse, and then we hit a refresh. As you can see, the green arrow is moving. That means it's actually querying Google's data center in real time in order to get the best results, the most accurate results. So as you can see, this client's current position is 32. Their previous position was 7. Their best position was 5. We just got this client on board. Again, their declining positions helped get us this contract a lot faster, because apparently they don't even have any SEO strategy right now. So, and December and Jan were their worst months, so they just came on board and signed up with us for a full integrated SEO strategy that we're working on. So this gives you the exact accurate rank, non-personalized, that you can actually see. Now this is only one part. What I really like about this tool is that it actually strips out all the meta descriptions that come in for the first 10 results that are coming up for this particular keyword search, and you can see the top 10 websites that are associated with this particular keyword in google.ca. So as you can see, there's Wikipedia, there's WebMD, Mayo Clinic, Alive, Oprah, WikiHow, etc., etc. And because the meta description is not here, it saves you the hassle of copying pasting the URLs one by one. So all you can do is just copy paste this whole information from here, just copy paste it, dump it in an Excel sheet, and now you can start doing a backlink analysis for each of these sites, or even an on-page analysis for each of these sites for why this site is ranking for this particular keyword, and then just reverse engineer the best practices and incorporate that for your client. So very cool tool to do this, and as I mentioned, the best part is that it's actually free. So that's pretty awesome, especially when, again, you're at the client's office and you want to check non-personalized results. So this is a great tool for that. Excellent. Hope everybody's enjoyed this session of our Launchpad edition. I'm going to take questions now. So our email's up here if you ever want to reach out to us, or toll-free number as well. So let's get the questions now. Felipe, go hockey team, absolutely. They just landed, Crosby and gang landed in Sochi, I believe, yesterday, and their first game is, I believe, a couple of days later. They're playing Sweden, I believe, so yeah, definitely rooting for them. Hopefully we get a gold again. All right, Ken had a question. What does Google consider an ad? What if you have a rotating banner on the top of your website? That's okay, Ken. Again, everything as long as it's done in certain limitations and it does not interfere with user experience. And the best way to actually check that is to look at the analytics for that page. So when you're looking at the analytics for that page, if you're seeing a good average time on page, it's fine. You're doing well. Like, I mean, if you're seeing an average time on page that's better than the website, then that ad is not really impacting the overall website. However, if that average time on page for the average time on the page is lower than the average for the website, then it's better to kind of look at it and make some decisions on what really needs to happen. Anita has a question. I came late to the webinar. Where can we listen to the recorded version? And are we going to get a copy of this presentation? Hi, Anita. Welcome to our webinar series. Everything's uploaded to our YouTube channel, which is very simply youtube.com/WSI ALM. So all of our recordings go up there. If you would like a personalized copy of the recording, please shoot us an email. It's info@wsilm.com or armando@wsilm.com. We'll definitely send you the link over. Mark mentioned, please repeat PPC markup and consulting suggested retail pricing. Mark, it's definitely scalable and customized to how the IC sells the product and their experience in that particular industry. But the setup fee, which is $200, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Armando, but I believe our setup fee, our standard setup fee for a standard PPC package is $200. You can definitely mark up, and I've seen markups for campaigns. I mean, bigger agencies do not charge a setup fee of less than $1,500, $2,000, right? And you know, because there's a whole bunch of different things that happen in a setup: A/B, split testing of the ads, desktop, mobile, display searches, and we can give you a list of all these things. However, a safe markup would be to mark up that $200 setup fee to about $800, $900, because it's a one-time fee, and an expert's going to be setting up this AdWords campaign, a Google certified expert. So you can definitely mark it up by utilizing all of these selling points for a client. When it comes to the monthly management fee, our minimum fee, I believe, is $150. That can easily be marked up to $200 or $250 by the IC. However, that's just the monthly management fee markup. On top of that, now you can actually start upselling consulting packages to a client, where you actually showcase your expertise. So you can upsell a 1-hour consulting package for $100 or $200, depending, again, what you feel comfortable based on your expertise and the client's budget. And then you add that to your PPC service that you're giving to a client, right? So now you're not just making that $200 or $250, which was our price of $150 that you marked up. You're making an extra $100, $150 depending on how much you charge for your consulting services. And all of a sudden now this client's worth, you know, you're making a profit about, not necessarily profit, but revenue of about $300 plus on this particular client. So that's how you can look at increasing a potential value for in terms of revenue for a local SEO, like a local PPC client. The setup fee as well as the management fee plus your consulting. Why did you migrate the doctor off eFusion? I thought eFusion was higher end than WordPress. He wasn't in eFusion, Mark. He was actually in ColdFusion, and that wasn't a very sort of a user-friendly platform. There's a lot of challenges that the site had, and plus we wanted to make it really easy for the client to utilize the backend so as to update their content, their articles, etc. So we wanted to give the client that flexibility, which is the reason why we chose WordPress. Also because of the fact that the client's going to be doing SEO at some point in time, so we wanted to make sure that they're on the most SEO-friendly platform that can be, which essentially is WordPress. Anita has another question with regards to case studies. Do you have any case studies for high-end real estate websites along with online activities? I spoke with a prospect today. He's trying to convince me they need just a basic clean website with search functionality. They believe they don't need other digital marketing services, that they get clients through referrals, and that such clients would not purchase high-end properties by the internet. That's a really good question that you brought about, Anita. Now, so we'll definitely send you across real estate case studies. We have a couple of them, so we'll definitely send that out to you. If you could just send us your email, we'll send that out over to you. In this instance where the client's trying to sell $1 million properties, I mean, you know, the likes of a Sotheby's or what have you, where they're selling high-end properties, and obviously you wouldn't buy $1 million property off the website, that totally makes sense. But the way that you can potentially position your services is that no one's going to be buying a property online, but they can definitely request for information off your website. So don't utilize your website as a sales tool, but more like a lead generating tool, as sort of like a business card or a brochure. That's kind of like how you use your website. So their website, I'm assuming, would be aesthetically very appealing with all of the conversion and call to action elements, including a very aggressive newsletter sign-up feature that should be appearing on their website so that they can capture email addresses and then just start nurturing these prospects through email marketing and their newsletters. So there's a few different features that can be positioned for this particular client, but the whole fact of the website should be positioned more along the lines of as a lead generating tool and not a sales tool in this instance, because yes, they are right. No one's going to buy $1 million property online, but they definitely request information about it. All right, but feel free to reach out to us, and we'll give you more information on a one-on-one basis. Mark has a question on PPC, I believe. How much ad income does he obtain from hosting ads of his suppliers? Good question, Mark. He's got different arrangements with these suppliers. I'm not exactly privy to the exact numbers in terms of how much money he's making, but it also depends. The amount of money that you make from your website by displaying ads of other companies depends on two factors. One is how much traffic is your website getting, because then the more the traffic, the more you can command as far as your money is concerned. And two is how brandable are you, like how famous are you in your vertical. If you're very famous and you're still not getting a lot of traffic, people don't care. They'll just want their brand to be associated with you. Hey, look, we're seen on Dr. Hoffman's website. Here's our banner. So these are the two main factors that basically determine how much you can earn as far as ads in your website is concerned. Juan has a question. How much do you recommend to go for a PPC strategy for a network marketing company? Just to understand this, network marketing would be MLM. In terms of MLM, I would not recommend a direct PPC strategy because PPC ads can actually be expensive. For an MLM strategy, it actually go direct pay-per lead. So there's a lot of companies that are doing MLM leads. So I would advise this client to just pick up MLM leads on a pay-per lead basis, and you can get in touch with a lot of there's MLMleads.com. There's a few other MLM lead providers that you can get in touch with, and see how much they're selling the leads for. But I would not recommend a PPC strategy in this case. They should go more along the lines of a pay-per-lead strategy where they can just buy leads and pay for the leads. Greg has a question on recommending a good tool for backlink analysis. There's a couple of tools that we use, Greg, internally that are highly recommended. The Open Site Explorer from Moz. It's unfortunately a paid tool, but it's a fantastic tool for backlink analysis. And then there's our very own GShip Labs, Krista's tool. So that's a terrific tool for backlink analysis as well, where you can look at your client's backlinks, you can look at your competitors' backlinks. So even GShift does a fantastic job when it comes to a backlink analysis. So we'd recommend these two tools. What language do you cover for PPC and SEO services? Anita asks us. As of right now, we're specializing primarily in English. Anita, we haven't graduated onto the other languages. We're potentially looking at French and Spanish, but that's still in the works right now. So we're focusing on English for now. I think I just answered Madeline's question as well, which was, do you offer any services in Spanish? Funny enough, I would say 80% of our management team is Spanish native speakers. So and we don't provide any services in Spanish. So it's kind of like a little bit of an oxymoron there. But it is definitely in the cards, Madeline. So it's something that we're looking at, but we just want to first solidify the English base that we have, make sure that that's being serviced well, and then we'd go into Spanish. Terrific. So we got Anita's email. Terrific. We'll be in touch with you. I believe no other questions. This was a great Q&A session, by the way. Thanks, guys. Keep these questions coming because that definitely encourages engagement and everybody learns from these questions. I'm even thinking of hosting a sort of an open-ended Q&A for one of our Launchpad series, opening up the mics so that everybody can fire questions, which I think would be a great session to have. So definitely appreciate all these questions and all the participation. Excellent, guys. Have a great week ahead, and hopefully there's more gold medals in store for Canada, and we'll give you an update on that next Tuesday. Have a great week, everyone. Take care.